Good morning. I am Officer Greg Sutherland with the San Francisco Police Department's Vicious and Dangerous Dog Unit. Today is Monday, the 25th of November, 2024, and the time is 10:07 in the hours. This hearing is being audio recorded. If anyone would like a copy of the recording, contact me, and that can be made available at a later date. In attendance, we have Captain Rebecca Fenson from San Francisco's Animal Care and Control, Hearing Clerk Victoria Weilhammer, and Hearing Officer Janelle Kaywood. Please direct your attention to Hearing Officer Kaywood. Thank you.
This feels, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, great. I'm just going to put my back up. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Janelle Kaywood. I'm an independent hearing officer designated by the Department of Health to conduct this case. The issues I'll decide today is whether the dog in question is vicious and dangerous and what remedies, if any, will be imposed on the dog owner to protect public safety. Officer Greg Sutherland of the San Francisco Police Department's Vicious and Dangerous Dog Unit will call the witnesses for us today. And please note that this hearing will be audio recorded and will be the administrative record for this case. So it's very important that you speak slowly, clearly into the mic, and that we do our best not to talk over one another. I will interject occasionally to ask a question and then ask some questions at the end if I think it's necessary. But otherwise, what I want to avoid is people yelling things out from the audience because I can't hear you, for one, and two, we need to get a record of what you're saying. So if you feel a burning desire to say something, just hold on to it, and I can circle back to you at a different point in the hearing. The process of these proceedings and the order of presentation is as follows. The police department makes an opening statement. The complainant will testify first, followed by any witnesses for the complainant. The dog owner and the dog owner's witnesses will testify next. Then I'll turn to the complainant to make any closing comments he'd like to make, and the dog owner any closing comments you'd like to make. Then I'll ask both ACC and SFPD if they have a recommendation about the matter. Sometimes they have recommendations and sometimes they don't, but if they do have a recommendation, I will give both the complainant and the dog owner an opportunity to respond. When you're testifying, please speak only to me, not to anyone in the audience or to any other witness. The exception, actually that goes for everyone. Sometimes I do ask ACC to provide advice on the spot. So Captain Fenson is an expert in this area, so I may call upon her to do that. Please don't approach the podium when another witness is testifying unless I say it's okay. Any interested party who has relevant testimony will have the opportunity to do so. Please be respectful to the person speaking. Please try to be brief and not repetitive. I'll issue a written ruling within 15 days of this hearing. The decision will be mailed to you, so please contact our fantastic hearing coordinator, Victoria Weilhammer, to update your mailing address if it's recently changed. Ms. Weilhammer, would you please administer the oath?
Would everyone who is testifying today please stand if you're able to do so? And if you're on WebEx, please unmute yourself. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear under the penalty of perjury of the laws of the state of California that the testimony you give at this hearing today will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Officer Sutherland, you may proceed.
Thank you. I'm calling the matter of Elijah, A number 515188. On the 5th of July, approximately 1:15 p.m., the complainant and his dog, his dog was tied up in the garage. The garage door was open. When Miss Davis's dog, who was being walked by another person, was attacked the complainant's dog, and according to records, the complainant's dog moved down from the northern California. And I have no other history than just that information.
The complainant's dog or the
I'm sorry, the
dog owner?
Dog owner's dog
Okay.
moving north.
Would you like to play the video as part of your opening or do it, what order do you want to proceed?
We could play it as the opening.
Okay. Ms. Weilhammer, could you please play the video for us? Actually, I'm going to identify the records, and then while you're queuing that up, okay. I want to identify what's in my case file and that what I'm reviewing as part of my, that will be considered as part of my decision. Exhibit number 1 is the SFPD vicious and dangerous dog complaint submitted by Thomas Newberry dated July 10th, 2024 with photographs. Exhibit number 2 is SFPD incident report number 240-19477. Exhibit number 3 is a set of records from SF Animal Care and Control. Exhibit number 4 is a pet license for Elijah. Exhibit number 5 is video footage of the incident. And exhibit number 6 is the SFPD chronological report by Officer Sutherland, which was excellent, thank you. Exhibit number 7, notice of hearing to Ciara Davis, dated October 29th, 2024, together with the SFPD case file, SF Health Code sections 42 to 42.5, the USB drive containing the footage of the incident and proof of service. Exhibit number 8 is a notice of hearing to Thomas Newberry, dated October 29th, 2024. Exhibit number 9 is a submissions by Thomas Newberry, which is his vet records and voice. Exhibit number 10 is a set of submissions by Ciara Davis, multiple letters of support, witness statement by Elizabeth Jimenez, and also a statement by the owner, Ciara Davis. Okay, let's go ahead and play exhibit number 5.
Okay, and before I hit play, I have to let Mr. Newberry know that WebEx is such that I cannot have him view the video at the same time. The only thing he can view is, I think, footage of where we are.
Okay, well, Mr. Newberry provided it, so.
Yes.
You okay with that, Mr. Newberry?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, thank you. Officer Sutherland, please call your first witness.
I'd like to call the complainant, Mr. Thomas Newberry, please.
Hello, sir. Please state your name and spell it for the record.
My name is Thomas Newberry, Thomas, last name Newberry, Newbury.
And thank you, sir. And we're here regarding an incident that you reported happening on July 5th, 2024. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and it happened outside or near the garage of your residence on Anza Street. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And what cross street can you say?
I'm in between 31st Avenue and 32nd Avenue.
Okay. And the video we just saw was that was your garage, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
I was working on a project for my backyard, building something inside my garage. My dog Yin Yang was leashed up inside my garage. Elijah, the dog, was being walked up the street by not the owner, I guess. And the dog, as you can see in the video, literally just latched onto my dog's face, dragged him outside. Whoever was walking the dog had no control over it, repeatedly yelled, "I'm sorry," the entirety of the incident, had no ability or strength to restrain their dog or get the dog off of my dog. As the incident was folding out, the pit bull, Elijah, had just completely latched on to my dog's jaw. Like, my dog was helpless, like just struggling to survive. The owner's friend or roommate just kept on saying, "I'm sorry," was barely pulling the dog, like just froze up, could do nothing. She was quite petite and small. I'm not sure if she's in the court right now. And I repeatedly started hammering the dog with my fist and trying to kick it in the jaw to unlatch because, I mean, these pit bulls' jaws are meant to lock on and not open up once something starts happening. And, that was just my natural reaction with my adrenaline, was save my dog's life. Like, what am I supposed to do right now? And as I was doing it, I was in fear for my life as well, thinking like, what's next? Like, I have no idea what's about to happen. Is this dog about to maul me while it's being walked with a harness by a petite individual that was, completely outmuscled and outstronged, like completely incapable of controlling this dog. And as you can see in the video, like the dog literally grabbed my dog from inside the garage and dragged him outside. Then after the dog finally unleashed and unlocked, like, thank God, my dog was basically bleeding out from his jaw, like underneath his chin. I slammed the garage door down and I said, give me your information. I don't have enough time for this. Like, I need to take my dog to the vet right now. Give me your information. Where do you live? What's your phone number? Give it to me. The individual refused to give me their information, said, hey, I'm going to go back down the street to return the dog to the house, and then I'll come back. Thinking this person might have some goodwill in them and actually follow through on something. Obviously, they did not come back. So I just took the dog, and I found out later in the day, as you'll see in my story, they literally live 1.5 blocks down the street. I waited around for 10, 15 minutes as my dog's seriously just bleeding out in the garage, and there was blood all over the floor everywhere. Never came back, so I said, screw this. We got to go to the vet. Went to the vet on Fillmore Street. He got a bunch of staples in his chin. I got left with a $680 vet bill or something. And that's maybe 6 hours later, is what I then spent the rest of my afternoon doing, was dealing with this vet.
No one came back that whole afternoon?
No one came back. And then, funny enough, I said, where is this person? You got to be, I've just dealt with this my entire day. My dog almost just got mauled to death. I almost got mauled to death. I just said, hey, I'm going to go circle the neighborhood and see what's going on. Unbelievably, the same person who was walking the dog, now the owner, are stepping outside of their apartment. Just coincidentally, I happened right immediately after I get home. They're walking out of their house with the same exact harness, same exact leash, as if nothing had happened to them that day. And I was just completely mind blown. How are you guys outside with this dog right now with the same exact restraints, the same exact leash, and the same exact harness, going for a stroll down the same exact street like nothing happened? I jumped out of my truck and I was like, what is going on? You never came back. I just went to the vet and spent $680. Your dog almost killed my dog. The lady says, I'm not the owner of the dog. I didn't come back because I thought the owner of the dog should deal with it. Who is, I don't remember her name. The owner of the dog says they had the audacity, this is before they knew I had video footage, to then point the finger at me and say, actually, from what I understand, it was your dog's fault and your dog that attacked my dog. Then and there, I knew exactly who these people were, what was going on, and I just said, you have zero morals, zero anything. The fact that you could sit there and say that, watch this video. Now tell me whose fault you think it was.
Mr. Newberry?
Then that's when they apologized and said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I said, yeah, you're too small to handle a pit bull. Pit bulls, in my opinion, shouldn't be legal. Then she said, that's the stigmatism pit bulls aren't bad. And I said in response, well, if the pit bull, if that's a stigmatism, they say then it's not bad dog, it's bad dog owners. Then you, my friend, are a horrible dog owner because your dog just mauled my dog and you're literally on the street again with that same exact dog, with the same exact harness and the same exact leash going for a walk. So which one is it? Are pit bulls bad or are you a bad dog owner? Unbelievable.
Thank you, Mr. Newberry. Question, did
2
you?
weeks later, I'm walking down the street, or a couple weeks later, I don't remember the timeline. Another person is walking the dog. Again, not the owner, so apparently, and it's not the same one who was walking the dog before. So apparently everyone walks this dog except for the actual owner. My dog's across the street. Her dog literally pulled whoever was walking that same dog again into the street. Like, because they couldn't restrain it. And that dog was wearing the same exact harness with the same exact leash. And I said, hey, why don't you go get a collar or something for your dog? And why don't you also go tell your friend she owes me for my vet bill? Where is she? She knows where I live.
Mr. Newberry, hold on. She owes you for your what? Oh, for your vet bill. Okay.
When I talked to her that day and we exchanged numbers, she said she'd be more than willing to pay for my vet bill. I've never heard from her since, which just goes to show, it's just whatever, no accountability, no responsibility, tried to say it was my dog's fault. It's like, where does this end,
Mr. Newberry,
So-
can you tell me thank you for your statement. Is your dog neutered or spayed? Tell me a little bit about your dog.
My dog is Yin Yang. He's an Aussie Doodle. He's literally never been into a fight or anything since I've owned him. 6 years. Had him since he was a tiny puppy. He's the friendliest dog in the world. He's not neutered. I kept him intact because it's supposed to increase the longevity of the dog's life, from my understanding. And it keeps them healthier and they don't get depressed. And yeah, friendliest dog ever. I can take him anywhere I go. People love him. Never
Okay.
been into a fight in his life.
Let me ask you this. It looked from the video that your dog was tied up. Is that correct?
Correct. Inside my own house.
Right. How much,
If
so,
you can see in the video, their dog literally jumped through my garage and dragged him out, and then he came off the tie-up.
got it. Mr. Newberry, let me just get an understanding of the layout of your home. How much distance did the pit bull have to cross to get to your dog? Was it 5 feet, 10 feet? I just don't understand what the layout of your home
So
is.
there's literally a pot right before my garage, and it's a big pot. It's probably like a 1.5 to 2 foot planter, like a round plant with a pretty big plant in it. So, and that's right before the garage. You can't see it in the video, but I mean, there's a huge plant right there.
So what's behind the plant? Is it a sidewalk, the street?
This is on the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk, okay. So how
So
much,
this dog had to, right after immediately walking past that planter, this dog had to have pulled whoever was walking the dog like a good 2 to 3 feet to get inside my garage.
okay. Thank you, sir. And can you tell me about your dog's injuries, if any?
Yeah, he was bleeding out in my garage and his entire underside of his chin was mauled. I provided photos of it, and the vet bill and the work that had to be done, and he had to get 2 staples in his chin. They gave him a rabies shot because they weren't sure if that dog had rabies. I mean, he's literally mentally scarred from pit bulls now, which just goes to show how smart and intelligent dogs can be. So now anytime he sees a pit bull, he literally starts shaking. It's amazing.
Okay.
It knows a pit bull now. And before that, he actually didn't have fear of pit bulls.
Thank you, Mr. Newberry. I appreciate how traumatic these incidents can be, so I thank you for bearing with us and waiting for the hearing, and just
Yes, of course.
participating in this process. I'll turn back to you just a little later in the hearing. Officer Sutherland, please call your next witness.
Yes, I'd like to call the dog owner, Ms. C.R. Davis, please.
Hello, could you please state your name and spell it for the record?
My name is Sierra Davis, C-I-A-R-A, last name Davis, D-A-V-I-S.
Can you lift the mic up just a little and talk a little bit louder?
Okay, try to hold it.
Can you?
Thank you.
Okay. Sierra Davis, D-A-V-I-S, is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. Tell me, before we talk about what happened on July 5th, give me some background information on your dog, Elijah.
Yes,
How
I've
old-
had him, oh, sorry.
How old is Elijah?
He's about 7.5.
Okay, and how long have you owned him?
Had him for about 6.5 years now. I got him at the end of my freshman year in high school.
Okay, how much does he weigh?
He weighs 65 pounds.
Is he neutered?
Yes.
How long has he been neutered?
Since we adopted him, so maybe at like 6 months when we first got him.
Does he have any medical issues?
No.
Is he under the care of a veterinarian?
Back at home, I haven't found a new one from when I moved up here for school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what happened. You weren't present on July 5th.
I was at work when everything happened, but when I got back, that's when my roommate Angel told me about everything, and we did try to go see if he was home. We walked up the street to the apartment. I don't know if he has cameras outside or anything, but you can see that we tried to find the owner's house. But from there, that's when we walked back to our apartment, and then we took the dog out for a walk, and then that's when he coincidentally pulled up and we saw
Did you
him.
leave him a note or anything?
No, we tried to like ring the doorbell and stuff, but we didn't have any contact with anyone.
Okay. What would you like me to know about your dog? Since you're not an eyewitness, you can't testify to what happened, so, okay.
I would say the same thing about my dog. He's never been in any type of fight at all, not vicious or malicious in any situation. We've come face to face with numerous dogs before in different walks for the whole 7 years I've had him. I used to live in Folsom Street over there in Soma, and we've seen numerous dogs every single day, and nothing has ever happened like this before. So I don't really understand, or I'm just confused on the situation itself. I would just say he's the most sweetest dog I've ever had, and yeah, that's all I can attest to his character.
So let me tell you just generally what this incident tells me. Oftentimes people come in here and say, oh, it's an isolated incident, it's out of character for my dog. The reality is all that says is that your dog is unpredictable. And I'm very concerned. This is a prolonged attack. What steps did you put in place to ensure something like this would never happen again since the incident?
Since the incident, I would just say walking just together with multiple people at a time and just watching for dogs, and if we are going to come up close to a dog, just go the other way or just not be in the same
Did you get a muzzle?
I have ordered one.
When?
I did it the other day to get one.
What kind of muzzle?
It's the one that's full of clothes. I got it off Amazon. It's I've just looked it up to see which one was the best.
I direct that this dog be muzzled pending the outcome of this hearing, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Any prior bites since, were you from Southern California?
Yes.
Okay. No prior bites?
No.
And I did review and receive the letters that you sent me.
Okay.
Okay, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows what the law is. Dog bites are like car accidents. You have to stay on scene.
Yep.
I understand the difficulty of wanting to put the dog away, but somebody does need to stay on scene until the police arrive. There's also a responsibility to contact ACC under the law and report the bite, and that applies to dog owners too. So my understanding is that bite was not reported. Is that correct? Okay, so just for future reference, everyone on the call, you have to report dog bites, period, and then let us.
I reported it. 2 officers came to my house and I got a
Right,
case report.
I was referring to the other, there's several people in the hearing, so I
Gotcha.
understand that you did. Okay. Oftentimes, dog owners don't know it's their responsibility as well, but we do have to, we care about public safety here, including the safety of your dog, children. You know, there are more dogs than children in this city, so we have to be really strict about what's going on here, and that we do better. Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like me to know about your dog?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, let me ask you, what kind of muzzle are you using?
It's the caged one. It's
caged
not
one?
like a mesh or anything like that, because I've seen those other options, but it's like a caged.
Before we turn to your other witnesses, do you want to give her advice on what she should be using pending the outcome of this hearing in terms of harness, muzzle, all that?
Sure, yeah, we always recommend, it sounds like you're going to be getting this, it's a basket muzzle. One of the brands we like is Baskerville, but there's other good ones, and they are like cage. The dog must be able to drink water, take treats, pant, and you're exactly right, don't ever use the mesh ones, those are for really quick, like at the vet. And
And a front attaching harness, correct?
yes, I was going to say, so a harness is exactly what you want to be using with a sturdy, short leash. The harnesses that we use and we recommend at ACC, Animal Care and Control, are front attaching, and you actually have a lot more control of the dog, because if he or she pulls, it turns their body, not just the back, which you have some control, but that actually can entice the dog to pull even more. But a front attaching will turn their body away. And even better would be a flat collar that they both attach, the front attaching harness as well as the collar. And then you have a lot of control on the dog, and it also doesn't hurt the dog. We would never recommend a prong collar or anything like that. Those are counterproductive.
Okay, so I'm going to direct you to use those tools pending the outcome of the hearing, okay?
Thank you.
And then I'll provide further opinions and advice and decision in my ultimate written order. Okay, have a seat.
Thank you.
Next witness, please.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to call Elizabeth Jimenez, please.
Hello, please state your name and spell it for the record.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Jimenez. Elizabeth is Elizabeth, and then Jimenez is Jimenez.
Okay, and what is your relationship to Sierra Davis?
We're roommates.
Roommates, okay. What would you like me to know?
Okay, so I was the dog walker on the July 5th incident. So the way it starts from my perspective, and even seeing the video, I still stand by my statement. I was walking Eli, and yes, I did not see that dog right in the corner of the garage. But if you look at the video, they had an initial bark at each other, which is the screaming that starts with it. I pulled Eli away, and I remember seeing the face of Mr. Newberry's dog, like the front face. And in my head, in that instant, I expected him to be pulled back into the garage by whatever leash he had. I was pulling Eli away, so they were separated at the time. The dog came out of the garage, and for a second it was just me, Eli, Mr. Newberry's dog, all there. And I just didn't have enough time to even pick Eli up, or I have never even been in a situation like that. So I understand that I was very defenseless, and I could have done so much more to protect both of the animals in that situation. But when Mr. Newberry's dog ran towards Eli, it was my visual understanding that that dog was latched onto the top of Eli's face. So he's biting. It's basically like they're mouth on each other. Mr. Newberry's dog is holding on to the top front of Eli's mouth. Naturally, Eli's clenched onto the bottom, which I understand why those injuries were so intense, because he's holding the bottom of the jaw. But I had no idea how to separate that other dog clinging on to Eli's mouth as well. So when Mr. Newberry came out, ran out, there was a struggle, the dogs separated, and when we had separated, I had fallen on the floor, so I was just bleeding on my knee just a little bit, but I was so overwhelmed by this, and obviously Mr. Newberry, again, and I'm very understanding to the fact that he was very angry and upsetting, and it's a traumatic experience. But when he is yelling at me, saying that my dog deserves to be put down, I am immediately okay, let me put him away, I'll come back. As soon as I got to my apartment, I decided not to come back, which again, was wrong on my part. I understand that now. It was around 1, I won this. Sierra was getting off at work at 4. So I assumed, I had texted her what had happened, and I was going to wait until she came back for us to go together to Mr. Newberry's house. The reason we had taken Eli out again after that was just because he had not gone out since that incident, and I just obviously need to let him out to like go pee whatsoever.
This incident happened in July, and there's still no muzzle on this dog, right? So
Right.
this incident could have been handled better. If he wasn't there, you should have left a note so he knew how to contact you. Or before you left to return Elijah to your yard, you could have given your name or told him where the dog was. Some information so that he, he's dealing with the stress of this incident and also, the frustration of not being able to contact you. I've watched the video. I don't agree with your assessment of it. It's clear to me that Elijah was the initial aggressor, and that any responsive biting was done in self-defense. So I disagree, but memory is a tricky thing, right? We don't see things as human recorders. We're not human recorders. We get tunnel vision when there's stress. So I'm not, your perception is one thing. Please don't shake your head at me. Are you shaking your head at me? Okay, well, please be respectful. I'm trying to talk to her and it's not appropriate. I am not saying that you're lying, but I've been doing this kind of work a long time, and human memory is a different thing. We focus on one thing and exclude other information, so sometimes cameras can help us see what's really going on. So thanks for sharing your perspective. I don't think it's consistent with the video, but I appreciate you being here and acknowledging that you made some mistakes. And so next time, if you're ever involved in a similar incident, you have to provide your information before you leave. Okay? Thank you. Next witness, please.
I have no more witnesses, ma'am.
Mr. Newberry, any information that you would like me to?
Just to reiterate in actually, something you just said. One, they never came back to my house that day. Two, if there was no video, I would have no idea who these people were, where they went. If I didn't run into them later that day, it would have been literally my word against theirs. And the fact that just that day they went back out, like nothing had happened. And like it wasn't in anyone's thought process to like, hey, maybe like we need to go get it muzzled today, like just in case, just like anything. And the fact that they still don't have a muzzle up until, supposedly ordered off of Amazon 6 months later, like the day of, apparently there's something coming. I just don't understand the seriousness of like, if they really appreciate what happened. And coincidentally, again, my wife at that time, 1.5-year-old daughter happened to be out of town that weekend. And if you look at my driveway, we draw chalk on that driveway. My daughter rides her bike right there on that sidewalk. There's 3 toddlers that live at this address. And like, I'm just thinking like that easily could have been my daughter. Like, I don't know. And it just seems like they don't care at all. And if I didn't have the video, and if I hadn't been circling that day and found them, like, I would be completely it would be my word against theirs, and who knows, what any outcome might be. It would have just been, hey, you're a liar, your dog attacked my dog. Or,
Okay.
maybe I would have never seen them again. Maybe they would have just spent their entire, rest of their time, walking in the other direction or something. I don't know. But, I just really wish they told the truth. I know they didn't come back later that day because I had checked my cameras to see if anyone had stopped by. And again, the right thing to do, as you said, would have been leave a note. If you actually came back, leave a note. Leave anything. So it's just, between the dog, them lying, I'm just glad that the city was able to fund this department again, because I honestly think this is a serious, serious thing. It's like having a gun or something. I know it's a reach, but you need to do things to make sure that that gun is safe. Like whether it's having a lock on it or making sure it's hidden or something, you know? And like pit bulls do have a reputation and a track record of like being accounted for like, I don't even know what it is. I think it's like 90% of dog attacks. So it's like, figure it out. Maybe it's too big of a dog for you. Maybe it needs a muzzle. Maybe like, you know, I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Newberry. Ms. Davis?
And I understand they obviously love their dog, right? I love my dog. Like, I don't know what I would do if my dog was killed that day, which like literally could have happened.
Mr.
My
Newberry,
dog could have been killed that day.
I get it. Thank you for being here, and I know how difficult these situations can be for everyone. It's difficult for Ms. Davis, for you, but these attacks are traumatic, and I understand the extra concern of having toddlers in the home. Ms. Davis, do you want to come back up? Any closing comments that you'd like to make?
I just want to say that, like, we do care, and like we did care about everything. Like, we're not lying about the experience. Like, it's obviously like our perspective and his, but like when he came up and like we saw him in the street, like he was yelling and screaming, but I was very apologetic. I didn't immediately start arguing with him. I was like, I understand what is happening and I'm really sorry. And he even said at the end, he's like, well, yeah, you seem like a really nice person. But like, cause he realized that I was giving like the empathy towards the situation. I was gonna do everything in my, like what I can do to like help him and like pay his vet bill. He said like,
But did you pay the vet bill?
well, he got my phone number and my information. I didn't get his. He said he would text me about it and send me the information. So that's why I was waiting. I didn't have any contact to him.
So the financial stuff is not for this hearing.
Yeah.
I don't have the authority to order one person to pay or the other. Mr. Newberry, those kinds of remedies you'll have to seek in Superior Court, but it sounds like.
Listen, I just expect people to do what I think is right. That's how I live by.
I
my
understand.
life. I do what I think is right. It's been 6 months. They know where I live.
Right.
They know how much it costs. I saw another person.
Mr. Newberry,
walking the dog.
Ms. Davis,
I
it's
let
time
her
to
know.
speak. Time to speak. I understand all the issues. I hear you, Ms. Davis. Please, I want to address one other issue that has been troubling me in hearing the testimony today and in some of the letters. This issue of breed discrimination. We are not here because the city discriminates against a breed. We are here to protect the public, and we have a video of your dog attacking another dog. That's why we're here. We're not, to sort of, when I get people in here, and I know that you haven't said it personally, and they say, oh, you're just discriminating against my dog. What that tells me is that there's an inability to take accountability as a deflection, and it makes me wonder if that person can be trusted with a very potentially dangerous animal to do the right thing, to wear a muzzle. If they're always blaming someone else instead of taking accountability, then I have concerns. And you didn't say that, but I did see that in the letter. Someone said that to Mr. Newberry. I'm not going to go on anymore about it, but that's not why we're here. We're here because there's a video of a really serious bite and a dog was injured. Okay, have a seat. Captain Fenton, does Animal Care and Control have a recommendation in this case?
Animal Care and Control would want to enforce that this dog wear a basket muzzle anytime he's in public and on a short, strong leash, and the other directives that might come along with a vicious and dangerous dog designation, as well as I would think that humane dog training would be in the cards here for both the owner and the dog to learn, especially a dog that appears to be reactive and especially unpredictable.
Do you, just for the benefit of the public, do you have, and this might be more of a colleague's area of expertise, but do you have recommendations for the public on what to do when a dog attack like this happens and you're trying to get a pit bull to release? Oftentimes they lock and hold, as you know. What's the best course of action?
Animal Care and Control and behaviorists recommend a number of different things using the tools that are around, such as garbage can lids to make a really loud sound, or hoses to spray water. Basically, or what we would do at the shelter with a dog fight is you change the channel. That's not always workable, but sometimes it does work. We have bite sticks. I mean, if you have something that can be put in the back of a dog's mouth, that's something that I don't know if we'd recommend just anybody do, but a bite stick will stop biting, or anything that is like a baton or something that's a stick that can go in their mouth. And then there's a method that may have worked in this case. It's pretty safe, is picking up the hind legs of the attacking dog in a wheelbarrow position. They're going to stop biting because they're going to be off balance. They're going to not know what's going on, and they can't reach you if you have the dog in a wheelbarrow position.
So
Lifting up the hind
lifting
legs.
up the hind legs of Elijah.
Yeah, of
in this case.
the attacking dog. Yeah, of the biting dog. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Captain. Does the police department have a recommendation in this case?
San Francisco Police Department would just advise that the dog be have a basket muzzle worn in public at all times.
So what I'm looking for when I ask for a recommendation is whether you think the dog should be deemed vicious and dangerous or not.
Yes, ma'am. I think the dog should be deemed vicious and/or dangerous.
Okay, thank you. And what they're recommending is the dog be deemed vicious and dangerous. That carries with it certain restrictions, just so you understand, so you can respond. I make the final decision. I could go to something more serious or less serious. What the officials are asking me to do is issue an order that this dog always be muzzled in public, that you wear a short leash, no dog parks, and any other additional orders that I may give, like use a certain type of harness, go to a certain kind of training. So that's what you're recommending. They're recommending, and I'm just letting you know that so that you can respond to that recommendation appropriately. I'm not saying that that's what the decision is. Mr. Newberry, do you have a response to that recommendation?
Mr. Newberry, I had to mute you, so you're muted because there was feedback on your end. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's totally appropriate, and I just think it's a bit sad that it took a court date and, actual legal things to be suggested for that to happen. So,
Okay.
I mean, again, there's 3 toddlers at my building, and I don't know. It's just, that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Davis, do you have a recommendation? I mean, a response to the recommendation? Come on up.
I'm good with that recommendation. I will definitely get on to getting everything prepared and doing that.
Okay. My tentative ruling is to agree with the officials up here. I will say, if your dog is seen in public without a muzzle on, I'm going to direct the city officials here to bring that dog, seize the dog, bring it in, and have another hearing. And my decision at that point very well may be to put your dog down. So if you love your dog, and I know that you do, you must follow this every order that I give. Okay?
Yes.
So that's my tentative ruling. It's not final till it's in writing. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Newberry, for hanging in here with the city. If you appreciate our program, let the mayor know. So thank you. I'm going to issue a written ruling within 15 days.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This matter has been concluded at 10:51 hours. Thank you for joining.
The testicles! Wait, I'm calling my friend. She destroyed the dog, my God! Don't pull him! He won't let go if you pull him. I don't know how to make let go! Put him down! Colleen, are you... Go back to your shit.